Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we will be talking about notching in the F-15 Charlie non-fulfilled flaming cliffs aircraft. One thing I want to say is notching in every airplane is slightly different, and so I think that there are a lot of nuanced things with notching that a lot of less experienced pilots, even comp pilots, don't know or aware of. I'm going to try to show some of those today. One thing to keep in mind with F-15 Charlie is even though the RWR here is considered quote-unquote perfectly accurate, it does not take in consideration the bank angle of the airplane. So depending on how you want the missile to be displayed, this may not be the best aircraft for you, but we can abuse this phenomenon. It's not really a phenomenon, but we can abuse this in certain ways depending on how we want to enter the notch. So I'm going to try to showcase some of these different things here live. So let's just spawn in a baddie. Okay, we got an aircraft here. So the first one I'm going to try to demonstrate is the upside down one. If we do this right, we'll be able to see the M the whole way. So we got a missile. And if you take a really shallow dive into the notch here, we can see the M there, and when it quits blinking, the missile has been notched. It's not notched now, and now it is. So we barely notched it there, but I'm actually surprised we didn't ground kill it. But that's generally the best way to do the notch. Let's do it again. Slow rollout here. I'm not looking up into the left, by the way. I'm just going off the beep of the tone and the non-blinking missile indication. So that will tell you if the missile's tracking you. If you don't hear the beep and it's not flashing on the RWR, then the missile is not tracking you. It is searching. And so you'll be able to easily use that as your reference here. Don't want to be too banked here. Want to be able to get a missile indication morning here. Okay, so I didn't pick him up on radar. That's okay. So we're upside down here. We're rolling out now. And now I'm just keeping myself banked until it's notched perfectly. And there we go. Missile hits the ground right there. Alright, got another bandit here. Alright, we'll try to go upside down again here and show it off. We don't want to be too fast. We'll rip our rings off, and the faster you are, the harder it is to notch the missile. So we want to just keep that in mind. If you're trying to get really good at this, you don't want to be in burner the whole time. Waiting for the missile to go pipple. Okay, Mrs. Pipple, Fox 3. And we'll see if I can't get the M to show up majority of the rollout here. It disappeared, but here it is. Right, quit blinking. Now I just level out. Keep heading down. So we drove it into the ground there. More of a ground kill than a notch. It kept requiring. Alright, wait till the missile goes. Alright, Fox 3. We're going to use the vertical here. See how we were watching it. Alright. Now we slowly roll out here, and that's perfect. Alright, we ground killed it right there. So within these little bit longer range defends, these should never really die. You just do that slow bank angle rollout into the aggressive dive, and what they'll do is get the missile looking downward, and then it will get ground killed because it's just going to fly straight into the ground once it gets notched. So I want to see if I can get this angle perfect. If you get the angle perfect, you can actually watch the M almost the whole time through this rollout. I didn't do it this time. Alright, perfectly notched. This missile should hit the ground. We required a little bit to the right. Drop altitude. Yeah, we have another guy here. Alright. Fox 3. The other good missile's gonna be out of energy, so we're okay there. Okay, this other missile in front is gone pipple. So now we'll, same thing. slight negative closure on this. Alright, that one hit the ground. So here's another one. I'm trying to get it to where I can show you this. If you do this right, you'll see the M through the RWR the whole time, but it's got to be absolutely perfect. But if you can master that, you'd be able to just do it. So there it is. I'm watching the M while I'm doing this, and I'm looking at the ground. Okay, I overdid it, so we just make a correction here. Try not to crash. Yeah, we drove the missile into the ground. Right back there. So, alright. There's another guy over here, so we'll move our radar over. Change the scan range, just make this a little bit easier. Okay, I got foxed on. So I'm just watching the M. Alright. Towards the ground. Alright. 4 miles, Fox 3, last round. Keep them offset. Alright. So we'll just keep going until we die here. Alright, this guy spun behind me. So I'm just also making this video to kind of prove that this isn't cheating. There's nothing cheating about this. It just takes a lot of practice. So we're just going to wait till it's notched. And we want to level up the aircraft.
Left engine fire.
Took lead.
Right
I didn't pay attention
fire.
to RWR, and it killed me.
Radar failure.
So let's go again. Like I said, we're just going to do a couple rounds. Alright, I for radar. We're going to go to BVR mode here. Pick up a little bit of speed. Mach 0.85, we'll spawn them in. Yeah. And if you have a problem with the missile requiring or just not notching generally, you're probably going too fast. It's really easy in the moment because you want to maybe kinematically defeat a missile, but it's harder to do if you're slow, or really almost impossible sometimes to do. So I'm just in the middle here.
Left engine
and
fire.
That missile actually just proxy fused
Right
me on off
engine
INS, which is fine. And my dive angle to the ground wasn't steep enough and it wasn't quick enough, so the missile just had a good track in the INS direction towards me. So, alright. Do it again. Okay, got the missile. Cut down to mail from burner. Deep dive, slow rollout here so I can see the M up here. Okay, it's notched. No, it's not notched. Okay, we'll climb it here. In a way. Fox 3, 7 miles. Killed it there. Another one behind us. Zoom out to see him. Tally. Over the mountain. Well, I was knocking the AWACS there, so gotta go defensive here. Missed the power lines here. Alright. 14 miles. Fox 3. So watching the M, slow my rollout here. Level out. Find them visually. Okay, the missile got into leg pursuit there, or too far past negative closure, I mean. And that's sometimes the problem when you're visually tracking a guy, you're not watching your RWR, but it didn't take much to re-notch the missile. Alright, so we'll just try the upside down shot again. Wait till the missile goes pipple. Just over Mach 1 here. Fox 3, cutting back down to idle here. Looking at the RWR and the ground. Slow rollout now. See the M. I promise I'm not looking to the left here. Alright. Yeah, I promise I'm not looking at the thing up top. I'm just going everything off the RWR here. Alright. We'll pull hard here. Should hit the ground. Yep. This will hit the ground right back there. So, steeper you can, the more G's you can pull without breaking your wing, the better, obviously, but. Okay, we'll keep this guy visually notched here so he can't fox on us. Should splash him. Splash. Okay. If you pull hard at, like, I think above Mach, you're just gonna rip your wings off, so. Wait for the missile to go pipple. We're climbing some altitude here. Able to hit Mach. Fox 3, pulling hard. Okay, alright, there we go. So hope this helps. I'll show some high altitude stuff next. Alright, I just want to show a medium altitude notch here. Got the AI at Mach 1.5, 30,000. I'm at Mach 1.24, slight disadvantage here. I ignore this missile, I was just messing around with home on jam stuff. Anyways, let's just get into it here. So Fox is at 22 miles, 21 miles, same thing with me here, no loft. And the key to this is just a very steep dive angle. And it's the same exact thing we talked about that you saw in the video against the AI at ground level. It's seeing the rollout in the dive on the RWR. So, just gonna Fox here. Now, the thing about this, if you notch it and recommit right away, we're gonna be within 10 miles. And we're gonna be probably pretty fast, which means our follow-up shot, if he runs cold or just defends or skates for a long time, he's pretty much fucked. Part of my language, but so I just want you to pay attention to this missile. Steep dive angle, get the missile looking down. And now that we've had the missile notch for a while, the missile goes stupid here. It's just INSs. And now we just climb above our bandit if we wanted to. Missile hits him anyways, but regardless, we're still over Mach, back up to 21,000 feet. We started at 28,000. So there's the medium altitude notch. Next, we'll do the high altitude notch. Alright, so here we're at high altitude, 1v1 against AI. They're in F-15E, I'm in F-15 Charlie. We're 37 miles, which is actually not that far considering our speed and our altitude here. Pretty dangerous AMRAAMs, potentially. Let's just debrief this. It's the same thing that we talked about before. It's just going to generally be harder if you want to play greedy, and I'll kind of get into that here. So anyways, missile comes off the rail. I actually end up dropping lock at about this point. AI turns on their jammer or something weird, so this missile doesn't really do much, but we're not really concerned about what our missiles are doing. So he foxes, he does not loft. Now, here's what I'll tell you from my experience, and I'm not the subject matter expert on this by any means. However, you'll see already here in TAC view this very steep dive angle that I'm doing to notch this missile. Had I had seen him pitch up right before he starts to offset, I would assume that he was lofting because he would have done an instant climb in altitude and then offset for the crank. That would have told me that he was giving the missile loft. So the missile's going to go way higher than what we're going to see here. It's probably only go to 60,000 feet or so. My dive angle here then wouldn't be as steep because he's already creating this really high look down on my aircraft. Where since he's not lofting it, I always feel like the missile's just, well, you're going to kind of see it just comes up and then it's just trying to lead, like match my altitude quickly. So I need to counteract that with a little bit steeper of a dive. So I'm actually going like really steep here. But just watch this missile here. Don't pay attention to mine. So very steep dive angle. As you can see here, very steep. And looking back, like I didn't need to drop this much altitude. I'm giving up a lot of my advantage. The AI just does a good job on this whole fight of actually just kind of almost making it to the merge here, which is actually kind of cool because you don't get it too often. Normally, they just die to the first missile. I don't know if he chaffed my missile or what, but he ends up spoofing it. I end up notching the missile long enough to where I realize that now I can just climb. So I'm steeply climbing on Mach 1.5. I'm using that to gain altitude, trading a little bit of speed for altitude and to get away from the missile. And so we started at 38 miles. Now we're both here. I find him on radar. He finds me on radar, and we both fox now at 20. So we cut the distance in half. Co-altitude, essentially coast speed. So he chaffed his way to this position. Don't recommend that. I notched and climbed over, and now we're foxing. And my missile actually doesn't even track here. I don't know. So he's just going to stay at 26,000 feet apparently. Same thing. We're doing a heavy dive angle here, as you see, creating that look down that we want on that missile. We're fast. Now the missile's gone pipple. I am notching it, and after I notch it for a certain amount of time, I'm going to climb over the seeker head. And now we're, very close here. Now, I made a mistake here. I'll just admit I'm not a perfect player. I was not visually watching him. I was too focused on watching the M on the RWR to tell me what the missile was doing. There's just a lot of experience there, noticing, what type of closure the missile has, if it's INS, stuff like that. There's so much to learn just by looking at one sensor. So he's still at 26,000 feet, so I actually couldn't find him here. So you're watching me fail at my Mad Dogs, and I didn't visually see him because my eyes were down here, my radar was down here. Knowing the AI generally, and most players, he's going to dive ground. So look at this, we're at 13,000 feet. He's slow. It's the only thing that I have going for me is I am not slow, but he is twice the altitude as me almost. Pretty big advantage. We're within 12 and a half nautical miles. 12 miles he foxes. This should be dead for me, you would kind of think, but once again, we just rinse and repeat. So we're going to make an aggressive dive down towards the ground. Now I had noticed that somehow I had kind of just notched the missile during the steep dive and not even be 90. You know, sometimes these missiles just go stupid. And when it happened, the last thing that the missile saw was me going straight down in a steep angle, and so the missile is just INS'd now towards the ground. So I kill it, and now I'm just trying to visually find him. So I was looking outside the cockpit, and I see him, and check this position out. This would normally be a losing position. However, if you get really good at the notch, nothing is technically a losing position because you can always find a way to win. 20,000 feet, he's 0.9 Mach. I'm on the deck here. We are within 8 miles. So my one problem with the F-15C really versus the F-18 or the F-16 is you don't have a JHEMIX, at least not till the full fidelity comes out. So you'll see I'm in vertical scan the whole time, and you'll see the problem with the vertical scan is sometimes it just doesn't want to pick people up, and I'm pretty much pointing right at them before it picks them up. But either way, 6 mile AMRAAM, he's 19,000 feet. He has absolutely nowhere to go. There's no way he can dodge this unless he like AI cheeses with some like AOA rolling. It's already a really steep angle, so guess what I can do? You guessed it. Slow roll out into the notch. And if I just hold it, boom. So there you go. Hope you find this lesson good. I hope it helps some of you guys improve in the F-15 Charlie. Let me know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe, whatever, or hate. Anyways, have a great day. Appreciate you.